She had been locked in that cage for 4 days, no trial, no crime. Hannah had simply walked into a general store and asked for work, and the sheriff threw her in an iron cage in the town square like she was an animal. 4 days without food. Freezing cold that cut like a blade. Boys threw rocks at her for entertainment. Women clutched their bread tighter and walked away when she begged. She had stopped shivering. That meant she was dying. Then a wagon rolled into town. A widower with 5 little daughters. And the youngest one asked the question that would change everything. "Papa, why is she in a cage?" Samuel McCord looked at Hannah, really looked at her, and saw something no one else had seen in 4 days. A human being. He walked up to the sheriff and said 5 words. "How much to let her go?" $20. That's what her freedom cost. $20 and a man brave enough to pay it. But here's what Hannah didn't know. She was running from something far worse than that cage, and the man who bought her freedom was about to become the only thing standing between her and the monster who believed he owned her. This story proves that one act of radical kindness can save a life, and that the people who see your worth when the world calls you worthless are the ones worth fighting for. If you've ever felt invisible, forgotten, or thrown away by people who should have helped, this story will remind you that your rescue might come from the most unexpected place. Drop a comment and tell me, has a stranger ever changed your life with one act of kindness? Subscribe now and stay until the end. Hannah's journey from that frozen cage to finding her true home will leave you in tears. That cage was barely fit for an animal. Hannah was curled up inside, her body so cold she had stopped shivering. The sheriff had called her a vagrant, just trash to be made an example of. But Hannah was not a beggar. She had simply walked into the general store and asked for work, any work at all. For that, they gave her no trial, just iron bars and public shame right in the town square. For 4 days, she endured a cold so sharp it felt like a blade. A deep hunger ached in her belly. A woman passed by, the smell of fresh bread from her basket hitting Hannah like a punch. "Please," Hannah rasped, her lips cracked. The woman just hurried away, clutching her bread tighter. Then a pack of boys showed up. They had thrown rocks the day before. Today it was snowballs. The first one hit her square in the face, the impact stealing her breath. The boys howled with laughter. She counted 12 hits before they got bored and left to find some other poor creature to torment. She was fading in and out when she heard the rumble of a wagon. Then she heard the voices of children. "Papa, why is she in a cage?" Hannah forced her head up. A tall, broad-shouldered man was climbing down from the wagon. 5 little girls stared at her from the back, their breath turning to smoke in the cold air. The man walked right up to the cage. He didn't stare or mock her. He knelt down so his eyes were level with hers, and for the first time in 4 days, someone truly saw her. His eyes were tired and filled with a deep sadness, but there was a fire of anger in them too. "How long?" he asked, his voice low. Hannah's throat was bone dry. She swallowed and whispered, 4 days. His jaw clenched. "Have they given you any food?" "No." "Water?" "A little, yesterday." A darkness passed over the man's face. He stood up and turned toward the sheriff, who was watching with a smirk. "This is your work?" Samuel McCord called out. Sheriff Dolan pushed himself off the wall. "It is. Welcome to Dust Creek, McCord. I see you met our town beggar." Dolan sneered. "We teach her kind a lesson here." McCord's voice was steady. "By letting them freeze in a cage." Dolan's eyes narrowed. "You got a problem with that?" "I do," McCord said. "Then I suggest you move along. Your business is welcome here. Hers is not." For a tense moment, they just stared at each other. Then McCord reached into his coat. "How much to let her go?" Dolan laughed, a mean and ugly sound. "She ain't for sale. Everything's for sale, McCord said flatly. Name your price. What, are your 5 daughters not enough to keep you warm at night? Dolan spat. McCord moved like lightning. In a heartbeat, he had the sheriff slammed against the wall, his forearm crushing Dolan's throat. You watch your mouth, McCord said, his voice dangerously quiet. Those are my girls you're talking about. Now name your price, or I swear I'll snap your neck. Dolan's face turned purple. $20, he choked out. $20 and she's yours. McCord let him go and counted out the money. He held it out to the gasping sheriff. Open the cage. You're making a mistake, Dolan wheezed. I said open it. Filled with rage, the sheriff jammed the key into the lock and threw the cage door open. Fine, take her, Dolan yelled, but don't come crying to me when she steals you blind. Hannah tried to stand, but her legs gave out immediately. McCord was there in an instant, sweeping her up into his arms as if she weighed nothing. He held her close, and she felt true warmth for the first time in days. I've got you, he said softly. You are safe now. He carried her to the wagon, where his 5 daughters scrambled to make room. Their eyes were wide with concern. The oldest girl, Abby, grabbed a pile of blankets. Papa, she's freezing. They quickly wrapped Hannah in layers of wool. The youngest child, Lily, scooted close and whispered, Don't be scared. Papa will take care of you. McCord took the reins. We are done here, he said, not even looking back at the sheriff. You came for fence posts, McCord, not some tramp, Dolan shouted. I changed my mind, McCord said, and snapped the reins. The wagon rolled out of town. As they left Dust Creek behind, Hannah saw the sheriff standing by the empty cage, his face a mask of pure confusion. The girls huddled around her, a small wall of warmth and kindness. I am Abigail, the oldest said gently. This is Josie, Martha, Caroline, and you've met Lily. Hannah's face was too stiff to smile. Thank you, she managed to say. Josie handed her a canteen. Drink this slow, she advised. Papa says drinking too fast when you are thirsty will make you sick. The water was the best thing Hannah had ever tasted. What is your name? Asked Martha. Hannah, she whispered. Hannah Brennan. Lily snuggled in closer. That's a pretty name. You smell like snow. Something like that. She had no idea. These sweet girls with their bright eyes and easy kindness didn't know what they were doing to her heart. Just 4 days ago, she'd given up all hope of ever being treated like a person again. It's all right, she whispered, her voice rough. I don't mind it. From the front of the wagon, McCord's voice cut through the air. How you holding up back there, Miss Brennan? He called her Miss, like she was somebody. Better, Hannah managed to say. Thank you for what you did. Don't thank me yet. We got 2 hours of hard riding ahead, and I can't promise these girls won't talk your ear clean off. Josie piped up. We're just being helpful, Papa. I know you are, darling. Hannah clutched the blankets, a deep exhaustion settling into her bones. The fear that had kept her going for so long was finally fading. Can I ask you something? The words came out before she could stop them. Go on. Why did you stop for me? Everyone else, they just kept walking. Why you? McCord was quiet for a long stretch. When he finally spoke, his voice was heavy. Because my wife would have. She's been gone 3 years, but I still try to do what she would have done. I'm so sorry about your wife. Me too, he said softly. He glanced back at his daughters. But she left me these 5. That's more than a man could ask for. I just try to raise 'em right the way she would have wanted. Lily, the smallest, tugged on Hannah's sleeve. Mama's in heaven. She watches us from the stars. That's a beautiful thought, Hannah whispered. Papa says she's the brightest one, right next to the moon. Hannah looked at these 5 motherless girls huddled around her. They offered a stranger from a cage warmth and water, like it was the most natural thing in the world. She thought about the woman who raised them, a woman so full of light that her family still lived by her example 3 years after she was gone. "She must have been a wonderful woman," Hannah said. "She was," McCord agreed, "the best I ever knew." They rode on in a comfortable silence. Hannah drifted, her body finally giving in to rest now that it was safe. Each time she woke, one of the girls was watching over her, ready with a sip of water or a gentle hand to fix her blankets. After a while, Abigail started humming a soft, slow hymn that made Hannah think of Sunday mornings and a life she thought was lost forever. The wagon finally rolled to a stop as the sun dipped behind the mountains. "We're home," Lily announced proudly. "Can Miss Hannah sleep in my room, Papa?" "She's going to have her own room, sweetheart. But she'll be close by. All right, everybody out. Let's get Miss Brennan settled." The girls hopped down, full of energy. McCord came around to the back and offered his arms. "Think you can walk?" Hannah's legs felt like stone. "I think so, maybe." "Let me help you." He lifted her down as if she weighed nothing, his hands steady and strong when her knees gave a wobble. "Easy now," he murmured. "Take your time." She took one step, then another. The house was built of solid logs and stone, with a wide front porch and smoke curling from the chimney. The girls had already run ahead, throwing the door open. "This way," McCord said, his hand still on her elbow. "Watch that step." Inside, it smelled like wood smoke and beef stew. Hannah's stomach clenched with a hunger so sharp it was painful. She hadn't eaten a real meal in 4 long days. "Girls," McCord called out. "Josie, dish up that stew. Abby, get some clean clothes from your mother's trunk. Martha, heat some water for a wash." He led Hannah to a chair by the fireplace. The warmth felt so good it almost hurt. "I don't understand," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "Why did you pay for me? Why bring me here?" She looked up at him, her eyes pleading for an answer. "I'm a nobody, Mr. McCord. I have nothing to give you." "Because somebody should have," he said, his voice firm. "Someone should have stopped that cage 4 days ago. I couldn't change that. But I could change what happened next. You don't even know who I am. I know you were cold and hungry and treated worse than an animal. And I know that's wrong. For now, that's enough." Abigail returned with a bundle of clothes. "These were Mama's. They might be a little big, but they're clean." Hannah took them, her hands trembling. "Thank you. I'll take good care of them." "They're yours now," Abigail said gently. "Mama would have wanted you to have them." Josie set a steaming bowl in her lap. "Stew's ready. Eat it slow now." Hannah just held the bowl, letting the warmth soak into her frozen fingers. She took one small bite and then another. It was the best thing she had ever tasted. "Is it good?" Martha asked, hovering nearby. "So good," Hannah's voice cracked. She ate slowly, just like Josie said, while the girls bustled around her. McCord sat across the room watching with those tired, kind eyes. When the bowl was empty, she felt a little more human. "There's a bedroom down the hall," McCord said. "It's small, but it's yours for as long as you need it. But I have to work, to earn my keep. We can talk about all that tomorrow. Tonight, you just rest." He stood up. "Abby, show Miss Brennan to her room." Abigail led her down a short hallway to a cozy room at the back of the house. There was a bed with a thick quilt and a washstand with a basin of warm water. "I left clean towels on the bed," Abigail said. "Is there anything else you need?" Hannah looked at the small, safe, warm room. "I don't know how to thank y'all," she whispered. "You don't have to," Abigail smiled. And for a second she looked just like her mother must have. "Mama always said kindness isn't something you pay back. It's something you pass on." The girl left, closing the door softly. Hannah stood there, wanting to cry or scream or just fall to her knees. Instead, she looked at her reflection in the small mirror. The face looking back was a stranger, with hollow cheeks and eyes that looked 100 years old. But she was alive. She washed her face, scrubbing away 4 days of dirt and despair. She changed into Elizabeth McCord's simple dress. It was too big, but it felt like silk. Then she crawled into that bed, pulled the quilt to her chin, and listened. She heard the soft voices of children, the low rumble of their father's answers, and the crackle of the fire. They were the sounds of a family, sounds she had long forgotten. She closed her eyes, and for the first time in a long, long time, she slept without a single nightmare. Hannah woke to the smell of frying bacon. For a second, she had no idea where she was. The bed was too soft and the room was too warm. Then it all came flooding back. The cage, the cold, the man who paid $20 just to set her free. She sat up slow, her body aching with every move. But she was alive. The door opened just a crack, and Lily's little face peeked in. "She's awake, Papa. She's awake." Before Hannah could say a word, the girl was gone, her footsteps pattering down the hall. Hannah found a brush and tried to tame her tangled hair. The woman in the mirror still looked like a ghost, but a cleaner one today. When she walked into the main room, all 5 girls were at the table. McCord stood at the stove, turning bacon in a big iron skillet. "Morning," he said without looking up. "Sleep all right?" "Better than I have in years," she said, and for the first time she meant it. "Good. Pull up a chair. Grub is about ready." Hannah settled at the end of the table, and little Lily slid right up next to her. The girl wanted to know if Hannah could braid hair, complaining that her sister Abby pulled too hard. The two bickered back and forth until McCord placed a heaping plate before Hannah. Bacon, eggs, and fresh buttered bread. It was a feast. "I can braid hair, if you like," Hannah offered softly. Lily's face lit up. "After we eat," McCord announced to the table. The breakfast was a happy mess of chatter and laughter. Hannah felt a pang watching them. This was a real family. Once the plates were cleared, McCord sent the little ones to their chores. He sat across from Hannah, his expression serious. "We ought to talk." Hannah's hands grew cold. He had said she was welcome to stay, but she knew everything had a cost. "I figure you have some questions," he said. Hannah found her voice. "Why did you buy me? And please do not tell me it was just the right thing to do." "A man does not spend $20 on a stranger for that reason alone." McCord let out a long breath. "My wife, Elizabeth, passed on 3 years ago. The cholera took her in just 4 days. His voice was low and rough. "Back in Kentucky, I was a deputy sheriff. I thought I could keep people safe, but I could not save her. I just had to watch." The silence in the kitchen was heavy. "After she was gone, this place was filled with ghosts. So I brought my girls out west to this ranch, hoping for a fresh start." He looked straight at her. "But I was just going through the motions. Then yesterday I saw you in that cage, seeing a person treated worse than livestock. It woke something up in me. I knew I could walk on by like every other soul in that town, or I could do what Elizabeth would have done." "Which was what?" Hannah asked. "Fight," he said, his gaze unwavering. "Elizabeth never turned her back on folks who needed help. She always said that being kind was the truest form of strength. So I reckon I bought you because I heard her voice telling me to be the man she married." His honesty brought tears to Hannah's eyes. After a long moment, she spoke. "I was framed." McCord listened without a word as she explained. "I was a seamstress. My boss accused me of theft to hide his own crimes. With no money for a lawyer, the judge believed him. I was sentenced to servitude." She took a shaky breath. "A man named Silas Crenshaw bought my contract." "Crenshaw," McCord repeated, his voice suddenly hard. "I know that name. A businessman out of Denver. He deals in those contracts, and the women tied to them." Hannah's hands twisted in her lap. "I ran from him after 2 years. When the sheriff caught me, I was sure Crenshaw had sent him." "And now?" he asked. "I do not know if he is still looking." But you need to understand. He sees me as his property. He has money and men. He will not just let this go. McCord's jaw was set like stone. If he comes here, we will face him. You do not understand, she insisted. He is a dangerous man. So am I, McCord said, his voice quiet but sure. Miss Brennan, I served as a deputy for 12 years. I have dealt with men far worse than some Denver businessman who thinks his money makes him a king. Right now, you are safe. That is what matters. Hannah looked at him, truly looked at him. No one had ever spoken of her safety as if it was important. I will earn my keep, she said quickly. Cooking, mending, anything. I am not looking for a handout. I know that, he said, rising from his chair. There is plenty to be done. But today you just rest. Get your strength back. He stopped at the doorway. Mr. McCord, she started. Sam, he corrected her. The girls call me Papa. You can call me Sam. Before she could answer, he was gone. Hannah sat there, a warmth spreading through her chest she had not felt in 2 years. For the first time since she started running, she felt a flicker of hope. Life on the ranch soon found a steady rhythm. Hannah helped with meals, mended clothes, and gently braided Lily's hair. The younger girls took to her right away, following her like a second shadow. But the oldest, Abigail, kept her distance, watching Hannah with careful, judging eyes. She was the one who had cared for her sisters since their mother died, and she was not ready to trust a stranger. Then, on the third evening, Hannah found Abigail huddled on the porch, gazing up at the stars. A lot on your mind? Hannah asked, sitting down nearby. Abigail just pulled her blanket tighter. After a while, the girl spoke. It has been 3 years, 2 months, and 4 days since Mama passed. She paused. Papa says time heals all wounds, but it does not. You just get better at pretending you are not hurting. Abigail looked at Hannah. Is it wrong that I am still so sad? Grief does not follow a clock, Hannah said gently. You miss her because you loved her. That kind of love does not just disappear. Abigail's voice trembled. I am starting to forget little things. The sound of her laugh, the smell of her baking. I am scared that one day I will forget her completely. Hannah took the girl's hand. Then tell me about her. Tell me everything. At first, Abigail hesitated. Then the stories came pouring out. She spoke of her mother's kindness, her bad singing, and the way she would read to them by the fire until they fell asleep. Hannah just listened. When Abigail finished, tears were on her cheeks, but she looked lighter, less burdened. Thank you, she whispered. Something changed between them out there in the dark. It was the start of trust. A while later, Sam came out. You all are going to catch your death of cold, he said, though his tone was soft. We were talking about Mama, Abigail told him. A shadow of pain crossed Sam's face. That is good, he said. She should be remembered. He looked up at the sky. Elizabeth used to say the folks we love never really leave. He cleared his throat and went back inside. Abigail turned to Hannah, her eyes wide. He never talks about her, not to us. Maybe he just needed someone else to talk to, Hannah suggested. Abigail nodded slowly, then stood up. Miss Hannah, she said, I am glad my papa found you. And with that, she went inside, leaving Hannah alone under the stars. Hannah sat on the porch, thinking about a woman she'd never met, Elizabeth McCord, and all the good she'd left behind in this family. The letter arrived 10 days later. Sam rode back from Dust Creek, looking like a thundercloud, clutching an envelope. The girls knew right away something was wrong. Josie shooed the younger ones inside while Abigail watched the door, her eyes full of worry. What is it? Hannah asked. Sam just handed her the letter. The paper was heavy, the handwriting fancy and sharp. It read, Dear Mr. McCord, I am told you are keeping a woman named Hannah Brennan. Miss Brennan is a fugitive, having broken a legal work contract. She is my property by law. I demand you return her at once. If you refuse, I will take legal action against you for theft. I also have men who are very good at recovering what belongs to me. I trust you'll make the wise decision. Respectfully, Silas Crenshaw. Hannah's hands were shaking by the time she finished. He found me, she whispered. Somehow he found me. Dolan, Sam said, his voice hard. Had to be. Probably sent a wire to Denver the day I took you from that cage. I have to leave. I have to go now before... You are not going anywhere. Sam, you don't understand. Crenshaw will ruin you. He'll take everything. He can try. Sam took the letter from her, walked to the fireplace, and dropped it right into the flames. He has money, influence. And I have this. Sam reached into his coat and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Bill of sale, dated yesterday. Says I bought your contract from Sheriff Dolan for $20. Hannah stared, speechless. What? Dolan was happy to get the money. Made him feel like he'd done something legal for a change. Sam put the paper away. Far as the law is concerned, you belong to me now. And I'm releasing you from it. You can't just... I already did. When he looked her right in the eye. You are a free woman, Hannah. Whatever Crenshaw thinks he has, it is gone. He will not care about the law. He will send men. Then we will deal with them when they get here. Sam's voice was like steel. I was a deputy for 12 years. I know how men like Crenshaw operate. They use the law when it suits them and force when it does not. I am ready either way. Tears streamed down Hannah's face. Why? She whispered. Why are you doing all this? Do not. Sam stepped closer, his hands on her shoulders. Do not ever say you are not worth it. You are worth all the trouble in the world. You hear me? You do not even know me. I know enough. His eyes were intense. I know you survived 2 years of hell and came out with a kind heart. I know my daughters already love you. I know that when Abigail talks about her mother now, she does not look so broken anymore. He paused. For the first time in 3 years, this house feels like a home again. His voice dropped lower. And I will not let anyone take that from us. Not Crenshaw, not anyone. He stepped back. Now we get ready. Crenshaw will not come himself. He will send his brother Emmett. I have heard the stories. EMTTT is a dangerous man. Hannah wiped her tears. He is the one... When I tried to escape the first time, Silas sent him to bring me back. What did he do? Hannah touched her left shoulder where a scar was hidden under her dress. Enough to make sure I would not try again. Sam's jaw set hard. Then he is the one I will be waiting for. Sam, get the girls. We need to have a talk, all of us. He moved toward the gun rack on the wall. This family fights together. Hannah watched him check the rifles, his movements sure and steady. She had come here a broken woman, expecting just another cage. Instead, she had found something she thought was gone forever, a family worth fighting for. That night, Sam gathered everyone. The little girls sat on the floor, while Abigail and Josie sat with Hannah on the sofa. A bad man is coming, Sam told them simply. He wants to take Miss Hannah away. No, Lily said, her little voice fierce. She is ours. She is, Sam agreed, and we are going to keep her safe. But that means we might have to fight. It might get scary. I need you to be braver than you have ever been. Like Mama was? Martha asked softly. A look flickered across Sam's face. Yes, sweetheart. Just like Mama was. Josie straightened up. Tell us what to do. A real smile finally broke across Sam's face. That is my girl. He laid out the plan. Where to hide, how to bar the doors, what to do if they heard shooting. One more thing, Sam said. Whatever happens, we stick together. We protect each other. That is how this family works. That is what Mama would have wanted, Abigail said quietly. Yes, Sam's voice was rough. That is exactly what she would have wanted. After he sent them to bed, Josie paused at the door. Papa? I'm not scared. I just wanted you to know. Sam pulled her into a hug. I know, sweetheart. When they were alone, Hannah said, Your daughters are remarkable. Sam just stood by the window, staring into the dark. He will come, Hannah said. MTT, he is probably on his way. I am counting on it. You want him to come? I want this finished, Sam said, turning to her. Men like Crenshaw do not stop. They push until someone pushes back hard enough to break them. I plan on being that someone. His eyes held hers. You are part of this family now, Hannah. That means we protect you just like we protect each other. No sacrifices. We win together or we lose together. That is the only way. He squeezed her hand. Can you accept that? She looked at this man who had rescued her from a cage and was now ready to fight for her. Yes, she whispered. I can accept that. They stood together by the window watching the night. The MTT came at midnight. Hannah was asleep when the sound of shattering glass woke her. Lily screamed. Sam shouted orders. She was on her feet instantly, running for the girls' room. Stay down, Sam yelled through the chaos. Everyone stay down. Orange light flickered outside. Fire. Someone had thrown a torch through the window. Hannah grabbed Lily and Caroline, pulling them to the middle of the room as Abigail got Martha. Josie was already at the back door. They are outside, Josie called. 3 men. Maybe 4. The barn, Sam said. Through the window, Hannah saw flames climbing up the side of the barn. The horses were screaming. I have to get them out, Sam said. You will be killed. Those horses are everything we have. He grabbed his rifle. Get the girls to the root cellar behind the house. Wait there until I come for you. Now go. Hannah gathered the girls and ran. The cellar was 50 yards away, hidden by some trees. It was where Elizabeth had kept her vegetables. Tonight, it would save them. She hurried the girls down the wooden steps into the darkness, then pulled the heavy door shut. Quiet, she whispered. Everyone stay completely quiet. Caroline prayed, her face buried in Abigail's shoulder while Martha and Josie stood guard at the cellar door. Outside, 3 gunshots cracked the night. Then a heavy silence fell. Papa, Lily whimpered. He's fine, Abigail insisted, her own voice trembling. The quiet dragged on until heavy boots crunched on the frozen earth outside. Hannah stood between the girls and the door, just as it flew open. It was Sam, outlined by the flames of their burning barn, his face a mess of soot and blood. We have to go. Now, he ordered. As they scrambled out of the cellar, Hannah saw the destruction. The barn was a skeleton of fire, and the house was disappearing into the blaze. I got 2 of them, Sam said, his voice tight. The 3rd ran off, but we can't stay here. The horses? She asked, her heart sinking. His voice cracked. Got 3 out. The others were trapped. Where are we going, Papa? Abigail asked in a small voice. To the Hollister place, Sam answered. Ruth Hollister's boarding house is about 5 miles west. She will help us. He lifted Lily onto a horse. They might follow, so we cannot stay put for long. They rode hard through the dark, the smell of smoke clinging to them like a ghost. Hannah held Lily close, feeling not despair over another lost home, but a cold, hard anger growing inside her. This is my fault, she whispered to Sam. No, he said, his voice rough with emotion. This is on Crenshaw, and believe me, he's going to pay for it. How? She asked. I will figure it out. They rode on until the first light of dawn, arriving to find Ruth Hollister waiting on her porch. She was a woman in her late 40s whose sharp eyes softened at the sight of the exhausted children. Samuel McCord, what in heaven's name happened? Crenshaw's men, he said simply. They burned us out. Dear Lord, get those girls inside, she ordered immediately. I have beds and warm food. We will sort the rest out later. Once the children were settled, Ruth pulled Sam and Hannah into her kitchen. They told her the entire story. When they finished, Ruth's face was like stone. "Silas Crenshaw," she said. "I know that name. A girl who escaped one of his places in Denver stayed here last year. Before she passed, she told me things that ought to get a man hanged." Ruth looked at Sam grimly. "But Crenshaw owns judges and lawmen all over this territory." "There has to be someone he cannot buy," Sam insisted. "There might be," Ruth said slowly. "About 100 miles west, there is a new settlement called Prospect Valley. Maybe 50 families. They are building a place with fair laws, run by a man named Reverend Jacob Stone." She looked them square in the eye. "They are the kind of folks who would want to hear about a man like Crenshaw. You would be safe there." 100 miles in winter with 5 children will not be easy," Hannah said. "That man will hunt you down if you stay here," Ruth warned. "This is not running, Samuel. It is surviving. You protect your girls first." After a long silence, Sam finally nodded. "We leave before dawn." As Ruth left to pack supplies, Hannah took Sam's hand. "Are you sure about this?" "There is nothing left to leave," he said, his fingers lacing with hers. "All that matters now is keeping our family safe." He looked right at her. "Our family. That is what you are to us now," he finished. Tears welled in Hannah's eyes. "I have wanted that," she whispered. "I just never felt I deserved it." "You deserve every good thing that comes your way," Sam said, squeezing her hand. The journey to Prospect Valley was 8 brutal days of bitter cold and constantly looking over their shoulders. They slept in caves and abandoned shacks. But the girls showed a strength that was truly remarkable. They grew quiet and watchful, their childhoods hardening into resilience. Josie and Abigail insisted on helping Sam stand watch. "We are not little girls anymore, Papa," Josie said one night. "We can help." Worn down with exhaustion, Sam finally agreed. "Then let Miss Hannah take a watch too," Josie insisted. "She is family. Let her help." Sam looked at Hannah, who gave a firm nod. "All right," he agreed. "We will all take turns." On the 5th day, they came to a fast-moving river choked with chunks of ice. "We will have to cross one by one," Sam said, studying the dangerous current. "I will go first," Hannah insisted, already leading her horse to the bank before he could argue. The crossing was treacherous. The frigid water came up to her waist, and her horse slipped on the rocks below. She nearly went under twice, but pushed through to the other side. One by one, the others followed. Sam came last with Lily clutched in his arms. On the far bank, the little girl was shivering violently. Hannah immediately wrapped her in every blanket they had, holding her tight to share her own body heat. "I am so cold," Lily whispered. "Don't you worry, sweetheart. We'll find a roof over our heads soon, I promise." They finally stumbled upon an old miner's shack about 2 miles from the river. It was small and drafty, but the fireplace worked and the walls kept the wind at bay. Sam got a fire roaring while Hannah peeled Lily's soaked clothes off and bundled her in dry blankets. The other girls huddled together for warmth. "How much farther?" Abigail's small voice asked. "Maybe another 3 days," Sam answered, his gaze sweeping over his daughters. "And then we start over." Martha spoke quietly. "I don't mind starting over. Not as long as we're all together." Sam's voice was a vow. "We'll always be together, no matter what." That night, Hannah dreamed of fire. Crenshaw stood just outside a cage of flames, his face twisted in a sick grin as she burned. "You belong to me," he hissed. "You always will." She woke up with a gasp, her heart hammering against her ribs. Sam was there in an instant. "Hannah, you're safe now." "It was just a bad dream." "He was there," she choked out. "Crenshaw. He's not here. He can't get to you." "But he will," Hannah's voice broke. "He'll find us. He always does." "Then he'll find something he ain't expectin'," Sam said, cupping her face. "He'll find a family that knows how to fight back." "How do you know?" Because I know you, he said softly. And I know my girls. His eyes locked with hers. We're not victims anymore, Hannah. We're survivors. And survivors, well, they don't break. Hannah let his words sink deep into her soul. For so long she had felt nothing but broken. But here, in this little cabin, with 5 sleeping girls and a man who had given up everything for her, something inside began to mend. She wasn't broken. She was healing. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For seeing me. The real me, not the woman Crenshaw tried to make. That woman was never real, Sam said, touching his forehead to hers. That was just a mask you wore to get through. This is who you are, strong, kind, and fierce. I don't feel very fierce. You will, he promised. When the time comes, you will. They sat in the quiet dark, the only sound the crackling fire, and Hannah allowed herself a sliver of hope. They laid eyes on Prospect Valley on the 8th day. It was a small settlement, maybe 40 buildings tucked into a valley with mountains standing guard on 3 sides. Smoke drifted from chimneys and kids played in the street. It looked peaceful. It looked safe. As they drew near, a tall, lean man with silver hair and kind eyes walked out to greet them. "Travelers," he said with a nod. "You all look like you've come a long way." "Too long," Sam replied. "Are you Reverend Stone?" "I am. And you must be Samuel McCord. These are my daughters, and this is Hannah Brennan." The Reverend's gaze passed over them, seeing the exhaustion and the desperate hope in their eyes. "You're running from something," he stated plainly. "Someone," Sam corrected him. "A man by the name of Silas Crenshaw." A shadow crossed Stone's face. Recognition. "I know that name." "Then you know why we're here." "I surely do," Stone said, stepping forward. "Welcome to Prospect Valley, Mr. McCord. You and your family are safe with us now." It was just that simple. "We built this place for folks like you," Stone explained. "Folks who need a new beginning, away from men who think money makes them gods." Hannah felt tears tracking down her dusty cheeks. "Thank you," she whispered. "You can thank me by staying," the Reverend said. "By building a life here. Life." He gestured towards the small town. "Come on, I'll show you a place to stay. It's a cabin on the edge of town. Needs some fixing up, but it's yours if you want it." As they followed him, townspeople watched them pass with curiosity, not suspicion. "Everyone here has a story," Stone told them. "Everyone came from somewhere worse. We don't judge folks here, we just help each other get by." "And if Crenshaw comes looking?" Sam asked. Stone stopped and met his gaze. "Then we'll deal with him together. This ain't like other places, Mr. McCord. Here, we protect our own." Sam looked at Hannah and his girls, then gave a firm nod. "Show us the cabin." The place was small but solid, with 2 rooms and a stone fireplace. It needed a good cleaning, but it was more than they could have hoped for. "It's perfect," Lily shouted, darting from one room to the other. "Can I have the bed by the window?" "We'll sort that out later," Sam chuckled. "Right now, let's just get settled." As the girls explored, Hannah stood in the middle of the room, taking it all in. "I never really thought we'd make it," she said softly. "Neither did I," Sam admitted, coming to her side. "But here we are." "Here we are," she repeated, turning to face him. "Sam, there's something I need to tell you. These past 8 days on the trail, I've felt more alive than I have in years. I feel like myself again, before Crenshaw took everything." "Hannah." "No, let me finish." She took his hand. "You pulled me out of that cage. You gave me a home twice now. You treated me like I was worth something. You are worth protecting. I know that now, because of you," she said, squeezing his hand. "What I'm trying to say, Sam McCord, is that I love you. I love your daughters, and I love this crazy, wonderful family we've become." Sam just stared at her, his breath catching in his throat. "You don't have to say it back," she rushed on. "I just needed you to know." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then he gently cupped her face and kissed her. It was a soft, hesitant kiss at first, full of unspoken loneliness. But then it deepened, and Hannah felt years of fear and grief melt away. When they finally broke apart, both of them were shaking. "I love you too," Sam said, his voice thick with emotion. "I think I have since the moment I first saw you. I just didn't know how to say it." "You didn't have to," Hannah smiled through her tears. "You showed me every single day." They just stood there in their new home, holding on to each other, finally believing they might actually be okay. "Papa?" Lily's voice piped up from the doorway. They turned to see all 5 girls watching them. Lily was beaming while Abigail had tears in her eyes. "Well, it's about time," Martha said plainly. "We've been waiting forever for you two to figure this out." Sam let out a real deep laugh, the first Hannah had ever heard. "Come here, all of you," he said. The girls rushed in, and soon they were all in a big tangled hug right in the middle of the room. A family, forged in tragedy. "Does this mean Miss Hannah's going to be our new mama?" Caroline asked. Sam looked at Hannah, his eyes full of love. "If she'll have us." Hannah looked at the 5 sweet girls who had never shown her anything but kindness. "There is nothing in this world I'd want more," she whispered. Lily threw her arms around Hannah's waist. "This is the best day ever," she declared. And for the first time, Hannah truly believed it. 3 weeks later, the cabin was a home filled with quilts from the townswomen and Martha's drawings on the walls. It smelled of fresh bread and sounded of laughter. Hannah taught sewing and Sam helped build a new schoolhouse. The girls were finally beginning to heal. For the first time in forever, Hannah felt like she belonged. But she knew that peace was fragile. The bad news arrived on a Tuesday morning. Reverend Stone stood at their door, his face like granite. "There are men in Cedar Ridge asking about y'all," he said without preamble. "A town about 20 miles east. They're describing a woman with reddish hair and a man with 5 daughters." Hannah's blood turned to ice. "Crenshaw." "It would seem so," Stone said, his eyes on Sam. "They'll be here in a matter of days, maybe less." "How many?" "Reports say 6 of them, led by a man named Emmett." Sam's jaw clenched. "His brother. You know him?" "We've met," Sam said, his hand drifting toward the rifle propped against the wall. "What's the town's position?" "We protect our own," Stone said, his voice firm as oak. "If Crenshaw's men ride in here, they'll be facing all of us. I just wanted you to be ready." After the Reverend left, Hannah sank into a chair, her body trembling. "He found us," she whispered. "After all of this, he still found us." "I know. Sam, I can't let him hurt these people. They've been so good to us." "He won't hurt anybody," Sam said, crouching down beside her. "I won't let him." "Listen to me," Sam said, his voice low and steady. "The running and hiding stops right here. This is our home now." Hannah looked worried. "But with what, Sam? We're one family against 6 armed men." He took her hands. "We are not alone. You heard Reverend Stone. This whole settlement stands with us. That is 40 families, Hannah. 40 families who are tired of men like Crenshaw." She shook her head. "They are farmers and shopkeepers, not fighters." "They are survivors," Sam insisted, his eyes intense. "Just like us, and survivors do not break, remember?" Hannah met his gaze and gave a slow nod. "What do we do?" "We get ready," he said. "We make sure that when T. Crenshaw arrives, he finds a town that fights back." The next 3 days were a whirlwind. Sam planned defenses with the men of Prospect Valley. Hannah taught the women where to hide the children. The girls all pitched in. Abigail watched the little ones, and Josie learned how to load rifles. Martha drew escape routes, and Caroline helped with medical supplies. Even little Lily had a job. "I'm a runner," she told Hannah with pride. "I am the fastest one." "I know you are, sweetheart." But the waiting was the hardest part. Every rider, every strange sound made Hannah's heart pound. She spent hours watching the eastern road for any sign of Crenshaw. On the third night, Sam found her on the porch, staring out into the dark. "You ought to get some sleep," he said gently. "I can't." "Me neither," he admitted, sitting beside her. "But staying up all night will not help." "I know," she whispered. What if this does not work? What if Crenshaw wins?" "He will not." "But what if he does? What if something happens to you or the girls?" "Hannah," Sam said, taking her hand. "Look at me." She turned to him. "Whatever happens, I need you to know something. These last few weeks with you and the girls, they have been the happiest I have been in a long, long time. This house feels like a home again, because of you." Tears welled in her eyes. "Sam, let me finish," he said, his grip tightening. "If something happens to me, I need you to get the girls somewhere safe. Build a new life with them. Nothing is going to happen to you." "It might," he said. "A fight is an unpredictable thing." His voice was firm. "Promise me, Hannah. Promise you will take care of them." She looked at the man who had saved her and given her a future she never thought possible. "I promise," she whispered. "But you are not dying tomorrow. I will not allow it." Sam gave a small laugh. "Yes, ma'am." They sat in the quiet of the night, watching the stars as empty Crenshaw rode ever closer. He arrived at high noon on the fourth day. When Hannah heard the noise from the general store, she stepped outside. 6 riders were coming down the main street, with Crenshaw leading them. She knew that cruel face and those predatory eyes instantly. He was older than she remembered from 2 years ago, but the malice was still there. Sam stepped into the street to meet them. "That is far enough, Crenshaw." EMT pulled his horse to a stop. "Samuel McCord, we meet again." "Wish I could say it was a pleasure." Emmett's gaze scanned the crowd and locked onto Hannah. "There she is. Hello, Hannah." "It has been a long time." Hannah could not speak. Fear had stolen her voice. "You have caused my brother a great deal of trouble," MT said, "and a lot of expense." "Your brother can go to hell," Sam replied flatly. "Such anger," MTT said with a wolf's grin. "I am not here to fight, McCord. I am here with an offer." "Not interested?" "You have not even heard it. Give us the woman now, and my brother will forget this ever happened." "And if I refuse?" Sam asked. "Then we take her anyway, and we burn this pretty little settlement of yours to the ground." Crenshaw's smile widened. "You have already lost one home to fire, McCord. Are you willing to lose another?" Hannah felt a wave of fear move through the crowd around her. "You are outnumbered," Sam stated. "Am I?" EMTT gestured to his men. "There are 6 of us. We are all armed and experienced. These people," he sneered at the townsfolk, "are farmers. They will scatter at the first gunshot." "Are you sure about that?" "I'm sure enough." MTT's voice went cold. "You have until sundown, McCord. Give us the woman, or watch it all burn." He turned his horse and rode off with his men. The moment they were gone, the crowd started panicking. "We cannot fight them," someone yelled. "He is right. We are just farmers. My children are here." "Enough!" Reverend Stone's voice boomed. "Everyone inside the church now." They crowded into the small building, 50 people in a space meant for 30. Stone stood at the pulpit. "You all heard the man," he said, his face grim. "You know the stakes. I will not pretend this is easy, and I will not promise no one gets hurt." "Then what are you saying?" a woman cried out. "That we should just hand her over?" "I am saying what we all know." Stone's voice grew stronger. "We came here to build something better. A place where men like Crenshaw cannot just take what they want with money and guns." "Pretty words will not stop bullets," a man muttered. "No," Stone agreed. "But courage might. We either stand together, or we fall apart. If we give them Hannah today, who do they come for tomorrow? Your wife, your daughter?" The crowd fell silent. "I am not asking you to die," Stone said. "I am asking you to stand, to show these men that there is a line they cannot cross." Sam stepped forward. "I know most of you do not know me well," he began. "But I am telling you now, I am not handing Hannah over to that man. Not now, not ever." "Easy for you to say," someone called out. "She is your woman." "She is a human being," Sam's voice. His voice cut through the quiet. "That woman was caged like an animal. She survived 2 years of pure hell because men like Crenshaw believe they own the whole world. I did not save Hannah because I owned her. I saved her because it was the right thing to do. So I am asking you, as a father who wants a decent place for his girls, to stand with us. Let us show these bullies what happens when good folks get pushed too far." A heavy silence fell. Then Mrs. Abbott, the baker, stood up. "My sister did not survive Crenshaw. I will stand." Then the blacksmith rose, then another and another, until the whole church was on its feet. Reverend Stone looked at Sam. "Well, Mr. McCord, there is your answer." "Yes, sir, it is," Sam replied. "Let us get ready." The plan was straightforward. Women and children in the church basement while the men took up positions. Sam planned to meet Emmett at sundown. But when Hannah said she was going with him, he flatly refused. "Absolutely not," he said. "He wants me," she argued. "Being there gives me some say in what happens. It puts you in harm's way." "I am already in harm's way," she shot back, grabbing his arms. "For 2 years he controlled me. I will not hide in fear again. I need to face him, Sam. I need to show him I am not afraid." Sam looked at her, seeing the steel in her eyes. "You are the bravest woman I know," he said softly. "All right. But you stand behind me, and if lead starts to fly, you run. Promise me." "I promise," she vowed. He pulled her close. "No matter what, I love you. I love you too," she whispered as the sun dipped low. As the light faded, Emmett and his riders appeared. Sam waited in the street with armed townsfolk hidden all around. Hannah stood right behind him, her heart hammering. "Time is up, McCord," Emmett sneered, swinging off his horse. "Where is she?" "Right here," Hannah said, stepping out. A nasty grin spread across Emmett's face. "My brother will be happy to see you." "I am not going back," she said, her voice trembling but firm. "I am afraid you have no choice." "She has every choice." Sam's voice was like ice. "She chose her family." Emmett laughed. "Family? You do not know the first thing about her. I know she is a survivor, that is enough." "Touching," Emmett said, his hand dropping to his pistol. "But feelings do not stop bullets." "Neither does hot air," a new voice called out. A rider approached from the west, a marshal's badge pinned to his chest. "Marshal Thomas Blake," Sam whispered in disbelief. "Watch your language, McCord," the marshal said, dismounting. "Got your letter. Rode all night." "Aye. You know him?" Emmett demanded. A wide grin spread across Sam's face. "He was my partner, back in Kentucky." Marshal Blake nodded at Sam, then fixed Emmett with a hard stare. "I know who you are, and I have a warrant for your arrest and your brother's." Emmett's face went white. "You cannot." "I can," Blake said, pulling out the papers. "Silas Crenshaw is wanted for a list of crimes as long as my arm. The governor himself signed this. The governor works for my brother." "Not anymore," Blake said flatly. "Your brother finally pushed the wrong man." "You are bluffing," Emmett snarled. "Try me," Blake replied, drawing his pistol. "Drop your guns, now." After a tense standoff, one of Emmett's men dropped his weapon, then another. With a look of pure rage, Emmett unbuckled his own gun belt. "This is not over," he spat. "Your brother is next," Blake said, moving in with the restraints. "And you are going with him." Hannah watched, stunned, as they were all tied up. Her knees buckled, but Sam caught her. "I have got you," he whispered. It is over. You are free, Hannah. She could only hold on to him as cheers erupted all over town. People poured out of the church, laughing and crying with relief. The girls rushed forward, and Lily threw her arms around Hannah. You are okay. You did not go away. I am not going anywhere, Hannah promised, hugging her tight. Did we win? Caroline asked, looking at the prisoners. We all won, Sam said, pulling them into a big group hug. Just like your mama would have wanted, Abigail added quietly. Reverend Stone came over, his face beaming. That was a close one, but the Lord provides. It helps when the Lord sends a well-timed marshal, Sam chuckled, shaking the Reverend's hand. Welcome to Prospect Valley, Mrs. McCord, Stone said with a smile to Hannah. Oh, we have not, she stammered. Not yet, the Reverend winked. But I expect I will be officiating a wedding soon enough. He left them standing there. Sam turned to Hannah. He is not wrong. About what? The wedding, he said softly. I know it is fast, but... Yes, she interrupted. He just stared. What? Yes, I will marry you, she said, tears of joy in her eyes. You have not even asked me yet, he laughed. Then ask, she whispered. So he did. Hannah Brennan, will you marry me? Yes, she said, pulling him into a kiss. Yes! The girls and the whole town cheered. The marshal cleared his throat. Congratulations, McCord, but I need your statement. In a minute, Sam said, not looking away from Hannah. After I kiss my fiancée. Does this mean you are our new mama? Lily asked. Hannah looked at the 5 girls who had saved her in so many ways. If you will have me. We were just waiting for you and Papa to figure it out, Josie said wisely. Later that night, as the town celebrated around a bonfire, Sam found her. What are you thinking about? He asked, handing her a cup of cider. That I do not deserve any of this. You deserve everything, he said, and I'm going to spend my life proving it. She leaned her head on his shoulder. I love you, Sam McCord. I love you too, soon to be Hannah McCord. She tried the name out. I like the sound of that. Good, he grinned, because you are stuck with me now. They watched their daughters dancing in the firelight. The fear was finally gone, replaced by the warmth of family and a future that looked brighter than a Texas sunrise. It was like thunder. And she deserves to be free, just like every single one of you. A quiet settled over the room. It was not fear anymore. It was resolve. They had made their choice. In the weeks that followed, Hannah lived in a state of happy disbelief. The women of Prospect Valley threw themselves into planning the wedding. Mrs. Abbott baked a huge 3-tiered cake. Mrs. Henderson sewed a beautiful dress from fabric she had been saving for years. Mrs. Stone organized the entire reception. You all do not have to do this, Hannah protested, overwhelmed. We want to, Mrs. Abbott said kindly. After everything you have been through, you deserve a celebration. But I did not do anything. You survived, the older woman said, her eyes soft. You stood up to men who thought they owned you, and you helped this town find its courage. That is not nothing, Hannah, that is everything. Hannah did not know what to say, so she let them fuss over her and argue about flowers and music. And through it all, she watched Sam. The sadness in his eyes was finally gone, replaced by a deep warmth. He laughed more, and his touch was easy and comfortable, as if they had been together for a lifetime instead of just a few weeks. What are you thinking about? He asked one evening when he caught her watching him. That I never expected any of this, she said, moving closer. You, the girls, this life. I had given up on ever being happy, and now I cannot imagine wanting anything else. He pulled her into his arms. Neither can I. The night before the wedding, all 5 girls insisted on sleeping in Hannah's room. It is tradition, Abigail announced, and the family stays together. Whose tradition? Hannah asked with a smile. Ours, Abigail said proudly. We just made it up. They talked late into the night. Lily was the first to fall asleep, curled up beside Hannah. Soon, only Abigail and Josie were still awake. "Can I ask you something?" Josie whispered in the dark. "Anything." "Are you scared?" Hannah thought for a moment. "A little," she admitted. "Getting married is a big step." "But you love Papa," Josie said. "I do, very much." "Then why are you scared?" Hannah looked at the girl who had been so wary of her at first. "Because," she said softly, "I have never had anything this good before, and sometimes it is scary to have something you are afraid to lose. Every time I felt safe, it was taken from me." "No one is taking this away," Josie said with fierce loyalty. "We are family, and family protects its own. Mama used to say that family is whoever you choose to love, and whoever chooses to love you back." Josie squeezed her hand. "You chose us, and we chose you." Hannah could only hold the girl's hand as tears fell silently down her face. "Get some sleep," Josie whispered. That night, surrounded by the 5 girls who were now her daughters, Hannah finally slept without any fear. Morning arrived with the girls bringing her burnt toast and runny eggs in bed. Mrs. Henderson came to help her dress for the day. "You look beautiful," she said, stepping back to admire her work as Hannah stared at her own reflection in the small mirror. The woman looking back at her was a stranger, not because of the fancy dress or the hair all done up nice, but because of the light in her eyes. She looked happy. She looked like she was finally home. "Are you ready?" Mrs. Abbott asked. Hannah took a big breath. "I'm ready." The little church in the heart of Prospect Valley was packed to the rafters. Folks were standing along the walls and crowding the doorway. Seemed the whole town had turned out to see them joined. Hannah walked down that aisle all by herself. She meant to. She was nobody's property to be given away. She was a free woman, walking to the man she loved. Sam was waiting at the altar, looking sharp in his best suit, his face just shining with pride. The girls stood beside him, Abigail and Josie up front, Martha and Caroline in the middle, and little Lily holding a bundle of wildflowers. Reverend Stone opened his book and began. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today." But Hannah barely heard him. Her whole world was just Sam's face, his eyes, and the promise she saw right there. When it was time for the vows, Sam spoke first. "Hannah, when I found you in that cage, I figured I was just doing the right thing. I had no idea I was finding my own future. I sure didn't know I was saving myself." His voice got thick. "You gave me my life back. You gave my girls a mother. You gave this broken man a reason to believe in good things again." He took her hands. "I promise to love you, to protect you, and to stand by you for all my days. I promise to be your partner, your friend, and your family. And I'll spend every day making sure you never for 1 second doubt how wanted you are." Tears were streaming down Hannah's face by now. "Sam," she began, her voice trembling. "I spent so many years thinking I was worthless, that I was just damaged goods that nobody would ever want." She squeezed his hands tight. "You proved me wrong, not with talk, but with what you did. You tore open that cage with your bare hands. You carried me to safety. You gave me a home and a family, and a love I never thought I deserved. You earned it," Sam said, his voice soft. "Let me finish." She managed to smile through her tears. "I promise to love your daughters as my own. I promise to honor the good woman who raised them. I will fight for this family, protect it, and never take it for granted. And I promise to spend my life being worthy of everything you've given me." Reverend Stone cleared his throat. "By the power vested in me, and now I pronounce you husband and wife." He smiled at her and said, "You may kiss your bride." Sam gathered her into his arms, and as he kissed her, the whole church filled with cheers. Little Lily wriggled free and threw her arms around their legs. "Does this mean you are my for-real mama now?" Hannah scooped the little girl up. "Forever and ever? Best day ever." The other girls swarmed them, a happy tangle of family right there at the altar. 7 souls brought together by loss who had chosen to be a family. "I love you," Sam whispered into her hair. I love you too. They walked out into the bright sunlight, holding hands as their daughters trailed behind them like a joyful parade. The party went on until the sun went down. Folks ate, drank, and danced while children ran wild all over the settlement. As stories were told and toasts were made, Hannah lost all track of time. She ended up on the church steps just watching Sam dance with Lily. The little girl was standing on his shoes, giggling every time he spun her around. Mind if I sit with you? Hannah looked up and saw Abigail. Please do. The girl sat down next to her. Thank you, Abigail said in a soft voice. For what? For making Papa happy again, and for choosing to love us. Abigail took a breath, for being the kind of woman Mama would have wanted for him. A lump formed in Hannah's throat. I wish I could have met her. Abigail smiled a little. You know her through us. All the good parts of us came from her. And now, the good in us will come from you both. That is a heavy burden to carry. You are already doing it. Abigail reached out and took her hand. Welcome to our family, Mama. Mama. The word washed over Hannah like a warm wave. Say that again. Mama. Hannah hugged Abigail and held on tight. I love you, she whispered. I love all of you so much. We love you too. Abigail pulled away, her eyes bright with tears. Now you should go dance with Papa. Lily has worn him out completely. He needs you to rescue him. Hannah laughed and walked over to where Sam was pretending to collapse while Lily climbed on his back. Save me, he groaned. My hero. Hannah lifted Lily off of him. Go find your sisters. It is almost time for cake. As Lily ran off, Sam stood up and offered Hannah his hand. May I have this dance, Mrs. McCord? A thrill went through her. Yes, you may. They began to dance slowly, moving to their own rhythm. Sam's arms were strong around her waist. Hannah rested her head on his chest, and the world just melted away until it was only the two of them. How does it feel? He asked. How does what feel? To be happy? Hannah had to think about it for a moment. Strange, she finally said. But good. Strange like a new pair of boots that finally feel right. That is a terrible comparison. I know. I am not a writer. You do not have to be. He kissed her forehead. You just have to be here with me. That is all I need. Are you sure that is enough? His arms held her even tighter. You are my wife, Hannah. You are my partner and the mother of my children. You are the one thing I never even knew I was missing. Sam, I love you, every word of it. He looked her right in the eyes. I know these last few months have been tough. We have been on the run just trying to survive, but starting tomorrow, we just get to live. We can build a life and watch our girls grow up safe. That sounds like a dream. It will be, he smiled. Especially the part where I get to see your face every single morning. Such a smooth talker. I had a good teacher. Who? Lily. She can talk her way out of any trouble. Hannah let out a real happy laugh. I love you, Sam McCord, and I love you, Hannah McCord. They kept dancing until the stars filled the sky and the children fell asleep right where they were sitting. Then Sam carried a sleeping Lily home, while Hannah held hands with the other girls. That was their first night as a proper family with so many more to come. The months that followed were the happiest Hannah had ever known. She would wake up to the sweet chaos of 5 girls getting ready for their day. She started her own small business teaching the women in Prospect Valley how to sew. She cooked big dinners, mended torn clothes, and kissed scraped knees. They were just normal, everyday things she never thought she would have. Sam poured all his energy into their little farm. He bought more cattle and horses and planted a big field of crops. He even added more rooms onto the cabin so they would all fit. You are working too hard, Hannah told him one night. I am building our future. She waved a hand around the cozy cabin. You already did. This family is more than enough. It is never enough. Sam pulled her into a hug. I want to give you all the things you never had. I have everything I could ever want, she said, and kissed him. Right here with you. The seasons changed, and the little settlement grew as more families arrived. Then one chilly morning in October, Hannah knew something was different. She felt sick, but it was a very specific kind of sick. She counted the days on the calendar, then counted them one more time just to be sure. Sam found her sitting quietly on the front porch. "What is wrong, Hannah? You look a little pale." "I am pregnant." The two words just hung there in the crisp autumn air. Sam's face showed 6 different emotions all at once. "What did you say?" "I am pregnant. We are having a baby." "A baby?" "Yes." "Our baby?" "That is usually how it works, yes." Sam sank down onto the porch steps. "I am going to be a father again. Is that okay?" A flicker of doubt crossed Hannah's mind. "I know we already have 5 girls, and another baby is a lot." Maybe you did not want Sam looked right at her. "Hannah, are you kidding me? This is everything." He wrapped his arms around her. "A baby. Our very own baby. Something that is ours right from the start. So you're happy?" "Happy does not even cover it." He let out a laugh that was pure joy. "I do not have the words for it. There are no words. We need to tell the girls." "Yes," he said. "Let us go tell them right now." They went to find the girls finishing up their chores for the evening. Sam gathered them all together, looking very serious. "We have some news for y'all," he said. "What kind of news, Model?" "What is it?" Josie asked, a little worried. "The best kind of news." Hannah took Sam's hand. "I am going to have a baby." For a second, there was just silence. Then Lily let out a holler and threw herself at Hannah. "A baby. A real, live baby. I am going to be a big sister." "You are already a big sister," Caroline reminded her. "Well, I am going to be a bigger sister." The other girls all gathered around, hugging and chattering all at once. "When was the baby coming? Was it a boy or a girl?" Sam just laughed. "One at a time, girls. The baby is coming in the spring. We do not know if it is a boy or a girl. And yes, you all can help us pick a name. I want to name it Princess Sparkle Rainbow," Lily announced. "We are not naming the baby Princess Sparkle Rainbow." Later that night, with the girls tucked in, Hannah lay in Sam's arms. "Are you scared?" he asked. "A little. About being a good mother? About deserving this?" She drew little circles on his chest. "What if something happens to take it all away?" "Nothing is going to take this away. We have survived everything thrown at us. Our daughters would burn down the whole world to protect this baby. Now, that is terrifying." "No," he said, kissing her forehead. "That is love. Whatever comes, we face it together. Always." The baby arrived on a warm spring morning. Labor was harder than Hannah ever imagined. Hours of pain that felt like they would never end. But Sam stayed right by her side the whole time. When it was all over, the midwife laid a small, warm bundle in Hannah's arms. "A boy," she said, "healthy and strong. A boy." Hannah looked down at his tiny face, his perfect little fingers, and a mess of dark hair, just like Sam's. "Hello there," she whispered. "I am your mama." The baby opened his eyes, and Hannah felt her heart make room for one more person to love. Sam was beside her, tears just streaming down his face. "He is beautiful. He has your nose." "That poor child." Sam laughed and kissed her, then leaned down to kiss his son. "What will we name him?" Hannah thought about everything that brought them to this moment. The cage, the long journey, the fire. "Jacob," she said. "Jacob Samuel McCord." "Jacob." Sam tried the name out. "It is perfect." Just then the door flew open and 5 girls came tumbling in, too excited to wait another second. "Let us see him." They all crowded around the bed, looking at their new brother. "He is so little," Martha whispered. "And so wrinkly," Caroline added. "He is perfect," Abigail said, and that settled it. "Can I hold him?" Lily begged. "Later, sweetheart," Sam promised, "when you are sitting down real careful." Lily pouted, but she agreed. Hannah looked at her family, her husband, her daughters, and now her newborn son. A year ago, she was locked in a cage, sure she was about to die. Now she was holding a new life. "Thank you," she whispered to Sam. "For what?" "For stopping that day. For breaking that lock. For bringing me home." "You are home," Sam said softly. "You always were. You just did not know it yet." 2 years passed. On a warm summer night, Hannah sat on the porch just watching her family. Little Jacob was toddling through the yard, with Lily chasing after him, taking her job as big sister very seriously. Martha was sketching under a tree, and Caroline was reading a thick medical book. Josie was helping Sam with the horses, learning the family business. And Abigail, her beautiful, serious Abigail, was walking up to the porch with a young man. It was Daniel Foster, the blacksmith's boy. "Mama," Abigail said, her cheeks a little red, "Daniel has something he would like to ask you and Papa." Hannah just smiled. Life, it seemed, was always moving forward. Later, after Daniel had nervously asked for Abigail's hand in marriage and Sam had grumpily agreed, Hannah found her husband on the porch, staring up at the stars. "She is growing up so fast," Sam said. "They all are. I am not ready." "Me neither," Hannah said, sitting next to him. "But I reckon that is the job, is it not? Raising them just to let them go." "I am so proud of you," Sam told her, "for everything you have become for this family." "I did not do anything. I just showed up." "You showed up," Sam said, taking her hand. "That is more than most folks ever do. You stayed, and you loved us, even when we made it hard." "Lily once put a bullfrog in your sewing basket." "Okay," Hannah laughed. "That was a little hard, but it was worth it, all of it." They sat there quietly for a while, just watching the stars. "Hannah?" he asked. "Are you happy?" She thought about it for a good long moment. She thought about the cage back in Dust Creek, and all those years with Crenshaw. She thought about running and hiding, always expecting the worst to happen. But then she thought about Sam breaking that lock with his own 2 hands. She thought about 5 little girls who welcomed her right away. She thought about a whole town that stood up for her. She thought about her son's first words and her daughter's engagement. "Yes," she said, "I am happy. For the first time in my whole life, I am exactly where I want to be, with the exact people I want to be with." "Good," Sam said, kissing her hair, "because you are stuck with us now." "I know," she smiled. "And I have never been more thankful to be stuck anywhere." They sat together until the moon was high and the children called them inside for supper. Hannah thought about the journey that had brought her here. She went from a cage in a frozen town square to a warm porch, a home, a family. She went from being someone's property to being her own person, from just surviving to actually living. It all started with the kindness of a stranger, a widower with 5 daughters and a broken heart. He was a man who looked at a woman in a cage and saw someone worth saving. But she knew she had done the hard work too. She had chosen to trust. She had chosen to stay. She had chosen to love, even when it scared her to death. In the end, that was all that mattered. Not the cage that tried to break her, or the men who tried to own her. Just this family, this home, this love. A widowed cowboy defied a whole town to save the woman they called trash. And together, they built a life that no cage or fire in the world could ever destroy. Hannah Brennan was once a nobody, but Hannah McCord was home. She was everything. This content was carefully researched, developed, and manually edited by our team to deliver meaningful stories with valuable life lessons. Every narrative is crafted to entertain, inspire, and empower our audience. We believe that great stories can change lives, and we are committed to bringing you content that matters. Thank you for being part of our community.